Okay, so in our last video, we took a break from talking about cars to just go through a list on IMDb on the top 10 rated How I Met Your Mother episodes. In this video, we will still take a break from cars and this time talk about Breaking Bad. But instead of Breaking Bad episodes, we will discuss this list of the top 10 Breaking Bad universe characters. So to be clear, this is the Breaking Bad universe that encompasses the main Breaking Bad TV show and also Better Call Saul, as well as the movie El Camino. Alright, so number 10 here is Howard Hamlin. So on IMDb, they only have the actor's name, but we know, Breaking Bad fans know who Patrick Fabian played in. It was Howard Hamlin, the lawyer antagonist-ish that had a tragic death on the Breaking Bad universe. So I think Howard is also one of my more favorite characters. He's probably not in my top 5 favorite Breaking Bad universe characters, but in Better Call Saul, he became just one of the characters that you look forward to in that show, on the scenes that he has, especially with Rhea Seehorn, even with Jimmy. So Howard Hamlin had a tragic death that was perpetrated by number 9 on this list, who is, for me, a top 3 Breaking Bad universe character. So I'm really surprised that Lalo is so low on this list, but Lalo is one of those characters that was just captivating, because even in just the very few episodes that he actually was part of on Better Call Saul, he owned every episode and every scene. Tony Dalton was just that good an actor on Better Call Saul. And before I met Lalo on Better Call Saul, Gus Fring was my favorite villain in that show. But when I saw Lalo and how terrifying he was instantly my favorite character, and I would look forward to the scenes that he had. And he was just so terrifying that in that last scene where him and Gus, spoiler alert about Better Call Saul. So in that scene where he and Gus Fring had that shootout, it was one of the best endings you could have for a character that Vince Gilligan wrote. And he was just so terrifying that even Gus kept firing the gun, not knowing if Lalo was still alive, because it was really pitch dark when they had that shootout. And I thought Lalo Salamanca was definitely the scariest and the best Salamanca in the Breaking Bad universe. And number 8, Kim Wexler, Rhea Seehorn. So she was also a great addition to the Breaking Bad universe, and I wish we had some screen time with her on Breaking Bad, the main Breaking Bad show. But I don't know if she would be distracting if her character was introduced. Probably not as relevant as she is when we met her in Better Call Saul. But essentially, she became this partner of Jimmy, and we just feel for her, especially as she undergoes a transformation that is almost like Walt's transformation, right? So when the moment she met Jimmy and everything that she went through in that whole show to become the character at the end, it was an incredible transformation, and Kim Wexler did an amazing job. I mean, Rhea Seehorn, the actor, did an amazing job. So number 7 is Mike, and Mike is also one of probably in my top 5 favorite Breaking Bad universe characters. He's both in the main Breaking Bad show, and he's also in Better Call Saul. So he has a prominent figure in both, but he has an even more prominent role in Better Call Saul, I think. But we were introduced to him in Breaking Bad when they were trying to deal with trying to dispose of Jane's body, and I thought the way that he was just so cool in that scene, and it was terrifying the way he was just treating it like a normal work day for him when everything happened, and there Jesse was just breaking down, just weeping, but there Jonathan Banks was just cool and collected and just showed us the very essence of his character, even in that very first scene that we saw him in. Yeah, and of course, we have number 6 as Gustavo Fring, Giancarlo Esposito, and he was so beloved by fans in Breaking Bad that we just want him cast everywhere nowadays, especially in Marvel shows where they're trying to cast him as, I think, Professor X, the next Professor X, and Giancarlo Esposito already played a recent character in Marvel, and for him to, I think, was that Captain America, the Brave New World. I think he was one of the villains there. And anyway, in Breaking Bad, Gustavo Fring was one of the scariest, most terrifying villains you could ever ask for in a TV show, because he just didn't know what he was thinking, and he put on this poker face like no one ever had, and he had to become that person because of what he went through, and the way his character was written was just really, really well written by Vince Gilligan and his team of writers, and the way that Giancarlo Esposito also delivered as an actor really created this menacing, scary Gus Fring character. And then we have number 5, which is Hank Schrader. So for me, Hank Schrader was my antagonist, because when you're rooting for Walt from season 1 till the very end, you kind of feel like Hank Schrader is the villain, and the way he carried himself was also the way you would expect him to. And I think he probably acts. I've seen some movies of Dean Norris, and his personality is kind of the same guy you get on Breaking Bad. It's not a diss on him, but yeah, I think Hank is one of the more memorable characters, but for me, not a top 5 character. And of course, Saul Goodman, so Jimmy McGill. So number 4 on this list, and he was so good that he deserved a spin-off show, Better Call Saul, which in my opinion is an even better written show than Breaking Bad, which is really crazy. But then again, it's the chicken and egg thing. You can't say that Better Call Saul is good without having considered Breaking Bad as part of the thing that makes it good. So Better Call Saul wouldn't be good without Breaking Bad. So you can't say that Better Call Saul is really good and even better than Breaking Bad. Anyway, Jimmy McGill was such an interesting character, especially before his transformation to Saul, and I was just wondering what Vince Gilligan wanted to accomplish at first, because we established that he had this brewing rivalry with his brother who never wanted him to succeed, and I think that kind of story where, you know, your siblings and your older sibling doesn't want the younger sibling to succeed, even though the younger sibling is kind of the favorite in the family, and because of that spite, the older sibling just carries that hatred through, in an older age, and we kind of saw that in Better Call Saul, and I loved how they made that the dynamic between Jimmy and his brother, and from the start of that show to how it ended, Saul was such a great character for Breaking Bad. And Nacho, Michael Mando, so I'm surprised that he's number 3 on this list. It's just that I would understand why some would think that he is the 3rd best actor, because the way that Michael Mando carried Nacho Varga was just, it was incredible, because somehow in Breaking Bad we saw this really pitiful character by Jesse Pinkman. We would just feel sorry for him, because every time we think he's finally gonna get out or finally succeed or get out of the business or maybe find a place where he is at peace. And then something pulls him back into danger or something that would harm him, and that's also part of the reason that the show was really interesting, because new conflicts would arise, especially for Jesse Pinkman. And Michael Mando as Nacho Varga was the same. He would just get pulled back in from both from opposing sides of a cartel, from Gustavo Fring and then the Salamanca. So he was kind of this double agent, right? And he played that double agent super, super well, even until the very end. And you couldn't have asked for a better actor in Michael Mando and Nacho. So I think he probably exceeded expectations as an actor in playing Nacho, but I would not put him in my top 5 characters, but definitely an incredible actor. And number 2, of course, Jesse Pinkman is Aaron Paul. No surprise there. It was as the second main character. So we know that Walt is the main character, but Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman, I wouldn't think of him as a supporting actor to Bryan Cranston. I would think of him as main character number 2. So he delivered an incredible performance in all the episodes he was a part of. He even had a cameo in the Better Call Saul show. And El Camino was just an incredible movie and an extension of that universe. And as a standalone movie, that was really, really good. So Jesse Pinkman, definitely deserving of number 2. And no surprise, number 1 would be Walt, who essentially defined that show. Without Walter White, without Bryan Cranston as Walter White, you wouldn't have Breaking Bad. And season 1 of Breaking Bad wasn't really that wasn't much of a crowd pleaser, but it's the show that really took off on Netflix. And I don't know about the story where it's Breaking Bad that made Netflix cool, or was Breaking Bad cool because of Netflix. So I'm not so sure where I stand on that. But when Bryan Cranston became Walter White, it was just an incredible display of acting in any era, and it's one of the reasons that Breaking Bad is one of the greatest shows that have ever been written, created, produced, and what makes Bryan Cranston one of the greatest actors in the modern era. So no surprise there that he's number 1. I wouldn't put Skyler number 1 as a Breaking Bad fan, but no surprise that Walter White, Bryan Cranston number 1 among the top 10 Breaking Bad characters.